impossible for me to harm or by mission of action allow to be harmed a human being. All I want is for you to ask for my forgiveness. Kept it under wraps.
Keep the gun pointed up. If you hit a bump, and the gun will go off.
Hey, man, we're ready to go now.
All right.
Want to talk about your Oakleys again?
Yeah.
Oakleys!
I know. I got 6-inch Oakleys, brand new. I've been wanting them, but I don't use a credit card, so I couldn't order them online, and that's about the only way you can get them. And not a lot of stores carry the Oakley boots, and I got sent a pair from Oakley Company. Ha ha ha.
Nice.
And 2 pairs of sunglasses. Oh, buddy. Now I'm talking like good ones. I mean, good ones. It's been a beautiful day, Troy. That's why I want to answer these questions. I'm in a good mood. I got my Oakleys.
We got some questions for you, man. It's Ask Lance time.
Let's do it. Ask Lance.
Okay, so you're going to love this. The first question I got is from a 12-year-old fan of yours from Perth, Australia.
Wow.
Her name is, and I hope I pronounce it, Lila Anderson.
Yeah.
And her mother sent in the questions for Lila, and she has got a couple for you, actually.
Okay, let's roll. I want to answer them for her.
First one is, what is the hardest job you have ever done?
Hi, Lila. I was actually, the hardest job right off the top of my head was working in a golden uranium mine when I was pretty young. I think I was 16 or younger. And I got the job. I don't know how they let me do it, but I ran a monkey drill, which is it's a drill for drilling holes for sticks of dynamite. And you have to drill like 60 of them, to take, to bust out the end of the shaft, so you could haul all that rubble out and then you get the gold and whatever else is in there. But it was really noisy because it was run with air pressure, and the bit was constantly turning and water was shooting through it into the holes as it drilled, and it was spitting back out on me. And I'm way up in a mine shaft and doing this. And it was like I had a calcium carbide lamp on, and it kept blowing the lamp out. The water would come out and blow the lamp out. And I'd be standing in pitch dark, and it was noisy. I only lasted about a month and a half on that job, but it was more money than I'd ever seen. They were paying me, at the time they were paying me like, I don't know, it was like $15 an hour, but it was a lot of money. Anyway,
a lot of work too.
The worst job. That was really the worst job. Then they'd pack all the dynamite in. I didn't do that. I wasn't, capable of that. But then they would blow it out. Everybody would haul all of that rubble out, and we'd start over again, drill some more holes. Sometimes 60 holes for 100 sticks of dynamite or more.
Wow.
And it gave you a headache too. When the dynamite, after it blew, it puts it into the air, so you get a terrible headache from it. So that was the worst job I ever did.
She also knows, what was the hardest character for you to portray as an actor?
I think Frank Black, only because he was so much more educated than I am, and so I had to really reach for it. I had to dig down and reach up for it because the guy was. Luckily, the material was written by very intelligent people, very bright people. Mm-hmm. And so I had to really reach for it. I'm much more of a primitive than Frank Black. So I was always feeling that maybe I would get discovered as a fraud. So I had to work twice as hard as anybody just to live up to it. Yeah, that was tough and exciting too, because I succeeded. I mean,
big time.
Yeah. The show got a lot of recognition.
And it touched a lot of people.
Yeah, I'm happy about that. Because my big thing, Troy, was that, what is her name again?
Lila. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Lilla.
Lila. My big thing was that I would never trivialize other people's pain. It was a very important element to me, and I would never really judge. I knew that people had to be put away that were crazy. When I say crazy, I mean they were defective. And so, but I never judged them. I really wanted to study it study them and understand how the hell something like this happened. Excuse my French. Anyway, that was that.
Cool.
She asked the tough ones, huh?
Yeah, 12 years old.
I'm going to ask Lila a question.
Go ahead. I'm sure her mom could email the answer for you.
Do you know any potters down in Australia? You got some of the great potters in the world. You know, some of them. There's a lot of great potters in the world, but some of the really great ones are down in Australia. So anyway, do you know?
I know that.
Yeah, great ones.
Question number 2. This is from Porl Wright, Porl. Is there a chance Lance will be making signing appearances for the trade edition of To Hell You Ride when it comes out?
Yeah, the problem is I won't own them, but if people own them, I'll be happy to sign them for them. Absolutely, sure I will. You know, I mean, I don't think I'll be. Not that I know of. I know that once it's out, I'm going to buy a ton of them, just because I'm proud of them and I want to see it happen as a movie. So I'm already scheming to figure out how to make that happen, and I know I'll have a lot of them. But any fan who has one, I'll sign it for nothing.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm proud of it. I'm proud of what we did.
It's a fantastic read.
Joe Madre and Mandrake, Tom Mandrake, and I'm really proud of us all for hanging in there. It took us 2 years to write it, and that's a lot of work. I mean, and we really did. We obsessed on it and really. You know what the best part about what we did? We worked in a kind of a way that they normally don't do it on a comic, and that is we Skyped each other. One of us lived in New Jersey and another somewhere else, and I'm here, and we would Skype and do a 3-way Skype and talk about issues and go over it and do pencils, and then Mandrake would do inks, and man, we were rolling. But it was like 3 times a week we conversed for 2 years, so we weren't kidding around.
Next question. This is from Charlie Bell and Madison Margera. Those are the ones that gave you the double kiss in the video.
Oh, those girls. They're trouble, man. They are trouble. No.
And I know they're going to love the way you just said trouble.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, even on a cold day, they were walking around, flashing. When I say flashing, I mean, we've done the exact reverse of most animals on the planet. Lions have giant manes, and the male birds have these incredible peacock-colored feathers underneath their arms, and every other breed, the male is like the flashy one, except in our world, the women are flashy.
Well, first they wanted to know that their love for you, that's how they met in the first place. That's how they became friends.
I know, they told me that, yeah.
And they wanted to know, and I know you probably know what the question is, will you be coming back to the UK anytime soon?
No. No, I'm not. I won't risk it. How much can I take? Jeez. God. I'm safer in my pottery shop. But I'll remember it. It was cute. They were cute as hell, man. They really were.
But no plans anytime soon.
No, I don't. No, but thank you for asking. It's like the way he asked. It's like an invitation. Very nice. Very nice.
Let's see.
Kissable girls, that's for sure.
Let's see. Elle Watson. I think it's Elisa Watson. I'm not sure. Are you ever blown away or really fascinated by your fans when you meet them? Oh, yeah. Always. I always want to have a longer conversation than what normally happens. That's the reason I like the Q&As when I go to a convention, because I really like to draw them out. Get them to talk. Get them to enjoy themselves, because I do. I love to
do what we're doing now. It's kind of great fun, man. It's very inspiring. Yeah. Yeah, I am blown away. There's a few, like writers, I meet young writers and young directors that haven't directed yet, but have a desire to do it. And we talk about, we talk about all kinds of shit, stuff, excuse me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've been to a couple of your signings and your appearances, and there are some pretty interesting people
Oh, no kidding,
that
man.
come through the line.
They were, I told you about the one in Sweden where the two girls were waiting for me in the lobby of the hotel
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
at the bar.
Yeah.
They were waiting for like a whole day. They were from Finland somewhere, and somebody told me they were really beautiful. And that's danger, Will Robinson. No. Anyway, I luckily I was out doing something else, but and I mean luckily. How much can a guy take?
Let's see what we got here. Next question is from, again, a name, German Bombini from Argentina.
Oh, I love Argentina, man. Yeah. What
Did
about
you
it? Yeah.
did you actually learn how to play the piano for Hard Target? If not, your acting was really convincing.
Well, let me tell you what happened. John Woo got a piano sent to my room at the hotel in New Orleans, a grand piano. And he had a piano teacher teaching me how to play it. And so play this one song that he wanted. So I learned it. And I'd never played the piano. So I learned it. And then when we got to the set, they played different music. And I said, well, so I had to go with what I felt about the other song and try to do my best. But it was, those are hard. I mean, what is not in the movie, because the movie company didn't want it. And that is, while I was playing the piano, I was thinking of hunts that I'd been on where I was killing elephants and wild animals. You see this elephant drop because somebody just put a casal through his head, and killing lions and a wildebeest, and while I was while I'm playing this symphonic piece, it's really I thought it was a great idea, but the studio didn't want it, so it's not in the movie.
But you learn how to play a
Yeah,
little bit.
yeah, a little bit, enough to, yeah,
Enough to fake it.
enough to make you believe that maybe he can play. He's just maybe kind of tired today or something.
Let's see. Next up is Nathaniel Hillaby. I'm a huge fan of all your work. One of my favorites is Paranoia 1.0, sometimes referred to as 1.0. Okay. Which I think is a beautiful film. I was wondering how you got involved with that film, and if you saw it after, and what you thought of the project in general.
Well, they lured me into that film because it was playing, a guy who you think is just like a handyman in this apartment building, and it turns out he's a gatherer, he's a killer that he'll take your brain. But the movie was so amazingly edgy. It would be like having a toxic, like you took some vitamins that were not good for you, and you felt constantly kind of toxic and not well. When you went through that film, it was so much paranoia in it. It was a little bit like the guy that wrote Animal Farm. What's his name? Shit.
Yeah, I can't think of it off the top of my head either.
Oh yeah, I know. It's hard, but Orwell. It's like an Orwellian, kind of thing. Or there's been other movies that have that effect, and I thought it was wonderfully done. When you think about the place where we were shooting, I can't remember if it was Romania or Bulgaria. I think it was Romania. It was definitely Romania. But the lighting and everything, and they asked me to do that film. I actually, something happened when I was in Romania. I was doing a film, and as I walked through the lobby of the Marriott Hotel, some guy goes, "Lance, oh, wait a minute, come here, I have a movie I'd like you to do. And I said, well, I'll read it. You know, you mean while I'm here? And they said, yeah, we're shooting. I mean, we're shooting. Well, before you knew it, I had 3 movies going at one time while I was in Romania.
Wow.
That was one of them. And it was just because I was walking through the lobby. Modigliani was being done, and I did a tiny moment in Modigliani, but they asked me to do it, and I was shooting another film, and then 1.0 came up, and I was literally in a cab, you know, going from movie set to movie set. But that character, I really liked it. It really played like a tap dancing handyman bum that ends up taking your brain. It was good. He's right. That's good. It's a well-made film.
It is a good film.
Yeah.
Let's see.
It makes you feel kind of hopeless when it's over, though. It's a little bit like a metaphor for too much government.
Oh, the government.
Oh, the government. Don't get me started. Oh, Jesus, you don't want to hear this.
Let's see. Next one up is from your good friend Paul Clark.
Yay, Paul.
Lance's new pottery tiles got me to thinking, how does Lance unlock his imagination when he approaches a new work? Does he work from sketches, photos, the unconscious, or a combination of things?
It's mostly the other. You know, you start out, you know, creativity is an incredible thing, because you may start out with an idea, but in the execution, the truth comes out. The truth about, you know, things in your psyche that are laying there waiting to be expressed. You know, and it's all based on what you see. I think in pictures. I don't think in words, written words. So that's how my mind works. So I just pursue it. I mean, I see what is there, what could be there, and what I could try to make happen, and I end up with something completely different. I end up with something that is telling me what it wants to be. And so, and that's the process. It's a wonderful feeling to be working in a safe environment like my pottery shop, and not have to sell it or not have to worry about any of that crap. If I ever have to sell a piece of pottery, I'll stop and never make it again. I want to do it and not have to even think about that. Because I want the pots I just want to be a mediator that gets the right materials together, puts it into a hot kiln, and allow it to make itself. That's what I want. Just like all my pursuits in the arts. I want inevitably it to be more about it than about me.
Mm-hmm. Well, to add to that, one of the most asked questions that I get on the page or in emails is, will you ever sell pottery again? And I think you just answered that.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? I think that Tom Coleman and I are going to do a show in New York together. But the idea of it is so it be seen. You know what I mean? If I just keep it stacked in a storage or in my studio, nobody's going to see it. And I really want them to see it. I mean, I want to see their reaction. I want to enjoy the sharing. So you can do a show, and of course they're going to want to sell it. And I say, well, don't talk to me about money. I don't know, like throw it in a box and throw it in the back of my truck, but I don't want to talk about it.
Right.
I don't give a shit about that. I mean, that's not why I'm doing it.
Right.
So during that show, I don't know what's going to happen with the money thing, and that I frankly don't give a shit. But I do want. There I go again.
It's all good.
Sorry, but it's like I really want to do the show, and I know my half of the show is going to be called 306 because that whole thing really moved me. That girl, and it led me in a direction. So. And I don't mean a morbid direction. I mean
right.
About life, about live it, really live it, and take your chances with your art, because that's what it's about. I mean, that's why I want to do Lick My Bowls. I want to do that. I want to do that TV show because it really is about waking up people in America that think pottery is something that you did in high school and your grandmother did it, and or it comes from China where you could buy a whole set of dishes for $30. They think that's what pottery is, but it's not. There's a whole art movement around the world of artists that use clay as their expression.
Yeah.
And Lick My Bowls is going to be really funny. I mean, the whole idea, when you say that the name of the show is Lick My Bowls, they can go in any direction they want with that little number. But the point is that there are eccentric, wonderful, funny people that do incredible work. And I want to do a funny television thing. And I will. We're getting real close now about doing the pilot. So
Awesome.
yeah, that's going to happen. But did I answer that question?
Yes, you did.
Hey, Paul. Love you.
Next one is from, and here we go with the name again. First name is Jared. Last name is Sklba.
Skelba.
Skelba?
I don't know.
What was it like working with Megan, Brittany, and Claire Scott on Millennium?
Well, when I was married, my house was full of women. We had 2 cats, were female. I had a daughter. I actually had 2 daughters, and I had a wife. And I was the only male. And when you walk into the house, there's a definite estrogen factor. And so it's a real situation. I mean, but on such a dark show where it was all about, there was an awful lot of brutality and an awful lot of, dark stuff, that they were the light. I mean, Clea to me, she was so beautiful, and she was so a talented actress, but she felt everything. It was like Clea had all of her antenna out at all times. I mean, not only was she seeing the crew, but she was seeing what I was doing and seeing what this meant. And there was multi-layers to Clea that come from females, even female children, little girls. I mean, they just exude this kind of it's the opposite of what men do. Men are very visual, and when children walk up to a pine tree that's only like a 4-year-old, they don't just say pine tree. The needles stick them in the face, and they hold it in their hands, and they smell it, and then years later, of course, they go, oh, pine tree, and they don't have the experience the same way again. But women generally, it's a much more gentle. Not that women haven't used the knife on their husbands. Don't get me wrong. But working on that show, they were like the light, like the yellow house. They were wonderful to be around. Especially, I was feeling a lot of darkness. Really. I mean, my wife at the time used to say to me, "Can Lance come out and play?" She just wanted Frank Black to go like on a vacation for a few hours. So it was tough, but it was beautiful to work with them, all of them. Megan was solid as a rock and wonderful, very pretty too, And that child, I mean, I love children anyway, and she was just such a natural born actress because she wasn't acting. We did a lot to make her feel very safe and very guarded and taken care of, and she thrived.
Next up is Glenn White. Lance, have you ever thought about going back to TV? I know you were on Hannibal, but perhaps to a HBO, AMC, or Showtime show like Homeland?
No. I'm not saying no, but not really.
I know talking to you over the years what Millennium took out of you. So
Well, it's probably a lot of people don't realize it's the hardest work in show business because I mean, you start out, you do a pilot, and you think, "Ooh, wow, that was fun. That was a month, and we shot a great piece of work, or hopefully." And then you say to the guy, whoever's producing it, or the director, or whoever wrote it, and are we going to have a month for each episode? And they go, no, no, you have 5 days. And you go, wait a minute, I had to learn 60 pages. I mean, how am I going to do that every 5 days? So you wonder how much work is involved, and it really depends on the character. I don't think I would ever do as dark a character as Frank Black, and be in every scene. And no, I don't. I know I wouldn't, because there's, when you do a movie, there's light at the end of the tunnel. You can gear yourself for 2 months, but you can't gear yourself emotionally or mentally for 10 years or 5 years or 3 years. I mean, it's really, we were doing 10 and a half months, and that was tough. I mean, I love the work. I don't want to ever stop loving what I do, which is really get into a character and do it. And movies feel to me a little bit more, it's like the difference between running a marathon and gearing yourself for a 25-mile run, or running what do you call it? Hurdles.
yeah. Plus being number one on the show, that's a lot of pressure as well.
I never thought of myself as number one. That's weird. I thought it was really
on the call sheet.
Oh yeah, but
Hey, you were the number one on the show. That's a
yeah.
lot of pressure, though.
Yeah, but the pressure only existed, only will exist in your mind. I mean, number one means you get a big trailer, and when they brought that showboat in, it looked like an aircraft carrier. It was big, huge holiday cruiser. I didn't want that. I saw it and I said, "Who's getting that? That must be for Chris." And they said, "No, that's yours." Oh God, I wanted a little van so I could get up close to the set. They have to put a trailer like that a mile away, and you never get in it. I'm going to go to my trailer. Well, that takes 20 minutes. I mean, no. They never did give me. All I wanted was a little van, and with the windows tinted so I could change clothes. Anyway, that's just. I don't think that way. That's poison. That's really poison. I was trying to help, like do interviews and stuff, but I was really inept at the time. I was too busy trying to figure out who the hell Frank Black was.
Yeah.
Reading. I became a voracious reader on that, of all kinds of books, and anyway, I had to dig deep because of my education. I mean, I had none. When they say to you, "I detect an unusual element of mindfulness associated with violence," now who talks like that?
Frank Black.
And why? Yeah, to find out why. Anyway.
I think you touched on it before, and I wanted to ask you. You did Frank Black for 3 years, and you worked with the Academy Group, and I think you kind of mentioned it before. Like in your personal life, did you find yourself like sizing up situations and
in real life,
noticing people? Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I was noticing behavior in people and going, ooh. I remember, something that connected with me about that. I remember a guard, and I was in Berkeley visiting my mother, and this guard, when I walked into the door to this big, huge drugstore, had a little of everything in it, but it was a drugstore. And this guy had such a bad vibe on him that I swear to you, I really kind of turned around and left. And he was a guard. I had no reason to know anything about this guy. But the way he looked at people, the way he looked at me when I came in, the way he looked at other people, I left. And I'm not kidding you, Troy. This is no bullshit. Excuse me again. But he shot a guy and killed him for stealing a little thing of aspirin.
Wow.
Shot him in the parking lot.
That
Now,
same day?
2 days later.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but 2 days later, I mean, that's the same.
Yeah, yeah.
In terms of the universe, that was like right away. I mean, geez. But that was the guy. So anyway, I'm very susceptible to that. I mean, in other words, I'm from New York and I have a shit detector, an automatic one, because it's the only nature in New York, as a friend of mine once said, are the people. There's not a lot of trees and brooks and, all kinds of stuff. That the people are the nature. So you develop this almost instantaneous ability to read people. And that guy, I'll never forget that. And so when I was doing Frank Black, I remember saying to my wife as we're driving down the road, I said to her, look at those guys. Oh shit, they're up to no good. And then this is me driving. She was like, what? She said, what? What? Jesus, can you let put Frank to fucking bed? Excuse, there I go. I mean, it's just too much. It became part of my being in a way. Tough.
Next up is Tatiana Savic, who runs your Russian Lance Henriksen fan site.
That's a great name, isn't it? Tatiana.
Yeah, it's very cool.
It's nice to say it.
Tatiana.
Tatiana, are you up? I'm home. Tatiana.
She wants to know, do you realize how many U.S. Russian fans you have, and how does it make you feel?
No, I didn't know. I really didn't. I've never been to Russia, and I've always been very, very interested in going there someday. But no, I didn't know. And
you have a big fan base over there, man.
That is cool. Thank you, Tatiana. Thanks for sharing that. Because I'm going to keep doing what I do. Maybe someday I'll come to Russia and play one of your heroes, or some musician, or who knows. Yeah, I do like Soviet Army Chorus and Band. That was a beautiful album. But I won't fly on Aeroflot. Sorry. There's no put downs. I'm making jokes now, Tatiana. Don't listen to me.
Next up is Ron Manzanero. Who has been your favorite female actress to work with in your career so far?
Really, it has to be, let's see.
It's a long list.
No, I know. That's really hard, man. But I did love her on Millennium, our Bad Girl.
Oh, Sarah Jane Redmond?
Yeah, I loved working with her. We've done a couple of things together, and she has a love of acting. I'm really interested in seeing her again because now that she's had a child, hasn't she had a child?
Yes.
I'm really wondering how it changed her and in what way, because I remember Sigourney, after she had a child, she seemed a lot mellower to me and a lot, it was beautiful. It was a very beautiful change. I'm not saying that it's great to be mellow, but I'm just saying that she has the strength. There's no doubt about it. And so she has that automatically, but to have that extra layer on of being a mother, wow. I love mothers, by the way. I really do. Yep.
Good question. Let's see. Up next is David Kennedy. Huh?
Let's get back to Tatiana for a second, because
let's go back.
Yeah, let's go back, because I love their passion. I love the Russian passion, and I like there's a very close friend of mine. Hold on a second. I want to get his album here. There's a guy named Sonny Puzakis, and he's a Russian guy that was in the Russian military, and we did Daylight's End together. And this guy is the most passionate, tough guy that I've ever met. I mean, I'm serious. I would not want to mess with him in any way. He was in the Russian military, and he has a martial art that he does and teaches people how to get into shape. But it was, it really was great to hang out with him. And so I'm sure that I would make a lot of friends in Russia. I'm positive.
I'm sure, yeah.
Yeah.
See,
Okay.
next up is David Kennedy.
Yeah.
Hi, Lance. I've been a fan of you since Millennium. In fact, you inspired my drive into criminal profiling with the character of Frank Black.
Wow.
Although his was more fictional, it is still amazing and challenging work. Besides acting, has the character of Frank Black inspired anything directly in your life? And if so, what?
I guess humility. There was a humility about that character that I lived for a long time, and it resonated with me. The power of it. Uh, because I mean, really, the bottom line to that show was there are a lot of heroes out there, and they are people that don't live in fear. They try to raise a family. They try to have a real life and respect their people around them and respect other people
Yeah.
and life in general. And so Frank Black to me was a guy who understood that, and that's a big deal. I mean, I get upset when I see people getting shot in the news and people getting abused in the news and all of that stuff. And really, that's what would keep you, in the world of, criminal, trying to get involved in that kind of thing. But what really holds you in it are the heroes out there. People trying to do the right thing and constantly trying to do the right thing. And then if it gets bad enough, then the body takes over, and now you shut down and you're only running on a few cylinders that are going to keep you surviving, the reptilian part of the brain that's going to make you survive at all costs, and then the rest shuts down. But so life is very, very beautiful and very mercurial. I mean, we're always probably amazed by it without whether we express it or not. But that's what kept me in it, and that's what kept me really fascinated by the whole thing. And the writers, I really attribute a lot of this experience I had with the writers. You have real life, and then you have writers, and the writers are hitting on things that are both conscious and unconscious, and but we're playing them out, we're acting them out. But the effect it had on me as a person was, unraveling, how do I fit into all of this, as a person? And so, yeah, it's a fascinating thing. I mean, I'm always been honored that I had the chance to do that, as hard as it was, or as difficult, or, so many people worked so hard on that show. I mean, I can't tell you. There were marriages on that set. There were divorces. There were people that couldn't take it anymore. I'm going somewhere else. I mean, it was real life happening while we were shooting it. And there was some glory in it, and there was all kinds of stuff going on. Yeah. I don't know if I answered that question or not.
You did.
Oh, good. Okay.
Next up is Dominic Stark, who runs your German Lance Henriksen fan site.
Wow.
What was it like to return to Germany to shoot a film, and what are the differences between foreign casts and crew as compared to U.S. cast and crew?
Oh, yeah, I've been in so many situations. There are no borders, I mean, there are only adventures, I mean, I really think about the adventure of making a film. I really stop at the edge of the stage, the place where we're going to shoot, and I always go, I wouldn't change a thing. This is my adventure now. Wouldn't change the people, places, or things, and I'm just ready to have this adventure wherever it goes. and that really exists in the industry. I don't know if I'd want to ever be a producer, and I honestly don't want to be a director unless I'm doing the George Orwell film. I would probably want to co-direct that. But the idea of borders don't exist, because look now, most things are not done in California. They're done everywhere else.
Yeah.
And so we are cross-border. Now, the one thing about Germany that I felt was that the youth and our director was a young guy. I mean, he's a, you know, I thought that they're creating their own new identity, you know, and it was really exciting to be there because they have a real. If I could speak German, I would have had a good time because they tell a lot of jokes. One of the thing, one of the things about being in foreign countries is you can't understand their jokes, and because some of them are on you, but you can't understand it. They're all laughing, and you're standing there like my pants just fell down, and I know it, and I know it's happening, but I don't know what it is. You know, I don't know what they're saying, and that even that's an experience. I got to tell you, when people are making a joke about you, and even though you don't can't know what they're saying, you know it's about you. It's fun. It's fun. I mean, if you're on a date with a girl from another country and you can't speak her language, imagine what that's like. I mean, a first date is like a nightmare. I mean, you know, we don't know what the hell is going to happen, and we're shorting out, like, you know, like shorting out, like trying to figure out, does she like me? Doesn't like me? That, yeah, you know, all that shit's going on in your brain. So it's almost like a Buster Keaton movie.
Yeah.
You know, you're trying to figure it out moment by moment. I always relate everything in acting to romance, to women and a romance. Yeah.
Up next is Stephen Libby. Did you ever think you would be in the spotlight?
No. I really don't feel like I'm in it now.
You're in it.
No, I don't feel like it. I really feel like you know, it's become kind of natural now. I've done so many movies, and you know, when I say so many movies, I mean days, weeks, months, and years in front of a camera, and working with crews, and working with material. I'm so busy, I don't even think about the rest of it. I mean, I'm certainly when I get surprised that anybody gives a shit what I think. You know what I mean? I get surprised by that more than being in the spotlight. In fact, I got nominated for a Golden Globe 3 years in a row, and I went down there for the Golden Globes, and I was praying I wouldn't get it, and I didn't. Tony Edwards, and I were nominated the same year with two other people, and neither one of us got it. And I know him; I really like him. And as we passed each other on the way out, we both turned to each other and went, "Loser."
Loser.
Loser. How can you hold your head up? No, the spotlight. You know, even if it's, you know, even when you go to bed at night, you turn the fucking light off. You need that. Don't turn no spotlight on me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm making funny fart noises. I don't know what's going on here.
Let's see. Dustin Julian Domingo.
Yeah.
Are you still attached to starring in Harbinger Down?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, buddy. That's going to be really fun. That really is. They're already working on it. They're working on the effects now. You know, Alex sent me an email today saying how the crew is coming together really well. So I'm excited. I can't wait to do that one. Yeah. It's going to be good, man.
This is one I've always wanted to know. And I think you and I talked about it before in the past. Michael Livingston. Is Lance ever going to be on Inside the Actors Studio with James Lipton?
No. No.
You would never do it?
No. No, that's asking for trouble, man. No, you know, I mean, if they, you know, I remember somebody was joking about it with me one night, and he said, he was pretending to be Lipton, and he goes, "So Lance, on the set of Sasquatch, it was raining, it was a cold night. Tell me, what were you thinking?" Yeah, my favorite thing that ever happened on it was De Niro saying, what do you want to say to God when you meet him. And De Niro said, "You've got a lot to answer for." That was too brilliant, man. I could never come up with one of those. That was great. Yeah, no, I will never. No, there's no way.
Really?
Nope.
They could have you on there for like 4 hours doing an episode of it because there's so much to go through.
Oh, that's the problem. No.
And then you did Sasquatch Mountain.
Yeah, Sasquatch, the third Sasquatch movie. Tell me, Lance, are you gonna ever do another one? I actually got offered another one, and I said no fucking. Oh God, there I go. Fucking like a fucking truck driver. A truck driver. Anyway, no. Sasquatch.
We're down to the last couple.
Mr. Lipton, let me ask you something. If you think you're so smart, how do you spell Sasquatch? Yeah, I want to ask God, can I wear my Oakleys into heaven?
No.
Bullshit. Do you know the joke? Do you know the joke about God and Jim Cameron?
No.
Well, so in this joke, Martin Scorsese dies and he goes up to the pearly gates and Francis Coppola's standing there outside and he goes, "Francis, hi, what are you doing here? Why don't you go in?" And he said, "Well, Marty, they don't allow directors in heaven." And they both look through the gate longingly and way off in the distance, you see Jim Cameron on a Chapman crane and he's rising up and sinking down into the clouds and rising up and sinking down. And he says, well, wait a minute. What is that? And he says, "Oh, no, that's God. He just is pretending to be Jim Cameron."
Jim.
Anyway, I didn't tell it well. I told it too longingly. Because the shocker is the director's standing outside the pearly gates and they're all dead, but they're all alive right now. So that would make it kind of sad, melancholy. It's not a good fucking joke anyway. So somebody told it to me. Here goes a fart noise again.
Let's see. Kate Holloman, do you consider the writing of a film, TV show as important as the acting?
Sure. You bet it is. Although, now hold on a second. The script often, well, let me put it this way. In a symphony, the violinist is allowed a moment in a symphony, and most of it's written into most symphonies, by the way, to improvise in a symphony. And so why is it that when movies are made, they don't want too much of that. They don't want an improvised moment very often. They're not ready for it. The good ones are. The good movies are. And oddly enough, when I do an independent film, they allow me to do it because I'm not stupid. I mean, the stuff that I brought to the table can work, really will work. It will help the arc of that character. So, I mean, I just think the writing is, without the writing, you've got nothing. Without restraint, there's nothing. It becomes jazz, just jazz, and it would go all over the place without the writing. That's the narrative. It's a great and skilled art. It really is, man. But I love the challenge of the better the script, the more wonderful the challenge. Because what are you going to bring to it? Are you just going to recite it, or are you going to come to it as that person?
Mm-hmm.
And if you do come to it as that person, you'll end up having many improvised moments, wanting to leap out of your body, and happen on film. That's what you want. All the good ones have that in it. The way Scorsese works and the way a lot of these guys work, they're very talented at knowing that there's more there. Let's go. It's not just the dry kind of guy that does 90 takes and doesn't tell you anything in between all of them, so that you end up getting exhausted, and then they go, I think I'll use the first one. There you go. Did we do it?
Just a couple more.
Okay.
Let's see. Sean Hewitt wants to know, have you kept anything like costumes or props from either Aliens or Aliens versus Predator?
No, I can't live with it. I can't live with them. Really can't. You know, I mean, I love my Black Crow. I like something with some unintended character. But no, I don't. If you looked around my house, I don't have anything from movies really.
You even auction off your scripts, so.
What?
I said you've even auctioned off your scripts. I know you auctioned off the Alien script.
I auctioned off all of the scripts from Millennium for children's charities. Yeah. We made a lot of money for kids. You know, I mean, but, you know, I mean, I would keep things like that and then do that with it. But I wouldn't be living with them or wearing them out in the public, you know.
Rebecca Trelfa, in your opinion, what makes for a riveting, great science fiction plot?
Whoa. Okay. You know, science fiction has taken the place of Westerns, what Westerns used to be with John Wayne running around up in Monument Valley and, you know, all of that kind of stuff. There was a whole era of that. Right now, there's a whole era of you know, science fiction and horror, you know, like Walking Dead and, you know, I mean, death.
Mm-hmm.
A new excuse to shoot people in the head, you know, or vaporize them. So, I mean, I really think of science fiction that it depends on it. I don't know if you would call Gravity a science fiction movie, but it's not. But it exposes things that people don't think about when they think of guys going into space. Not the average person anyway. But or if you have Avatar, where he created a tribal experience for an audience that made them long to be member of a tribe. I wouldn't mind being 7 or 8 feet tall, all blue, and I can run through the foliage and meet a Catwoman like that. You know, that would be cool. I would love it. Yeah, but I mean, there's many ways to tell a love story, or, you know, I mean, Avatar to me is like a love story. I mean, it's science fiction. That's the framework, but it's certainly a love story.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You know, a guy who's lost his legs and now he's getting them back, all out of love and you know, a kind of warrior tribal mentality. You know, it's quite beautiful. But again, you know, the brush that any genre gets smeared with, any sort of resonating thing out of our humanity separates itself from the pack, and that's what's the difference between a good movie and a not so good.
Yeah,
I've been in some alimony films that were not so good, and some good ones too. But
all right, man, we're down to the last two.
All right.
Lisa Watson wants to know, and I already know the answer to this. Do you get enough downtime, relaxation, and rest? Your schedule looks grueling.
Well, it can be, you know, it is grueling for moments at a time. I mean, picture yourself on an airplane going down to New Zealand for 15 hours. And then the minute you get there, you go, oh shit, I got to go back. It's another 15 hours in your mind, you know, in your body. And so it can wear you out, just the traveling, let alone, you know, I mean, you could start off heading down to Bali for a vacation and you're all lit up and wearing your nice bright clothes and shit. And by the time you get there, you just go, God, that was a long trip. And it's weird, you're worn out. I mean, you get worn out. We're not built to do all of this stuff. I always think of myself as like a little kid in like I watch the little kids with their parents in like at a convention, and the parents are all buying stuff for themselves, and the kid, whether he's 4 years old in a stroller or he's 9 years old tagging along, the kid in the stroller is staring at people's asses and and at their knees, and they have no batteries. They kind of wear out
Hmm.
really quick, much quicker than adults. That's why they need naps and they need lots of little treats, cookies and milk and all of that stuff. You got to carry it with you just so that because their batteries run out. And I think humans are the same way. Only I've been accused of objectifying myself and pushing myself much further than is really necessary. I mean, I do it because I'm just stubborn, but you can wear yourself out from it. All of that. What was that question again?
Do you get enough downtime,
Oh,
relaxation?
yeah. Okay. So when I stop objectifying myself, that's the point. That's why I got there. Uh, and I really appreciate the downtime, and the way I do it is I work at my pottery. But that's like, man, that's another world. I wish it on everyone that they have something that they are
Passionate about.
well, there's a better word, obsessed about.
Okay. And Peter Alfred Logkaer. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce that. Will there be a Millennium movie?
You know what? My gut tells me right now that it's on pause. That somehow it's considered and it's on pause. That doesn't mean it's off and it won't happen, but something may trigger it. All of the not the tribe fan, whatever you decide to call it. I call it the tribe, but anyway, all of their interest in it is genuine. And I got to tell you something, man. When the scales tip, they tip fast. Because all it takes is for somebody to do it is to say yes. You look at all the things that happen when somebody says yes. I've been living my life to that idea. You say, even if it's complicated, you just say yes, and then you take the journey. And it's possible because I mean, Chris, I'm sure it's in the back of Chris's mind somewhere tucked away there, and it's Spotnitz and a lot of the people that were involved with that show. I'd like to see it done. I really would. I think it'd be worth doing, and I believe in it. So who knows what's going to tip the scale? I mean, what if I come out in a movie and really kick some major ass, and then they go, what about the Millennium thing? You know what I mean? That's books have been written. Our page is an indication of interest, and I want to see it happen. And if I'm
All
ever
the cast want to do it.
yeah, sure they do. Sure they do, because why would it be hanging on like this if it wasn't going to happen? Why would the interest be hanging on? I mean, they can't wait forever.
Right.
And as I said, when I wrote the foreword to the Back to Frank Black book, I really meant it when I said this book is so well done that it's like Martin Luther nailing his statements up on the door of the church. Here it is. You want to believe in it and do it, or not. That's your problem, not mine.
Yeah.
We already know why we want it, and it will be a celebration if it's done. It really will be. The quality of it will be a celebration.
Indeed.
Martin Luther's manifesto. That's the word I was looking for.
Someone just posted on the page. Tracy Sowerby wants to know, will you say hello? She's from Yorkshire.
Tracy, absolutely. Hello. Hi.
Hello. Hi.
Hi.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's all the questions.
Thanks, Troy. Thanks. You are such an, terrific guy for working this page, because it's more than one person can do. That's for sure. And I would be no good at it. You have major skills. You really do. I'm always happy to talk to you and hang out with you. Look at what happens when you and I get together.